Recently, the Wall Street Journal published an article worrying that soaring yields on government debt could derail that fabled soft landing. We'd already seen rising warnings that bond yields could soar to double digits, which we last saw in the 1970s. Specifically, analysts are worried about the 10-year yield, which measures how much interest the federal government has to pay on its 10-year bonds. These are a big hunk of the national debt, but more important, the 10-year is a key benchmark for the cost of borrowing across the entire economy. So mortgages, car loans, business loans, even credit cards are all pushed up if the 10-year rises. If all of those rates rise, then companies and especially small businesses are choked off from lending, which is the standard trigger for a recession. What's worrying the Journal, what's really worrying all of Wall Street, is that the 10-year is hitting the highest level since the subprime mortgage crisis in August of 2007, which of course led to the global financial crisis. Moreover, the 10-year is soaring fast. In just 6 months, it's gone from 3.3% to 4.8%, meaning in just 6 months, it got almost 50% more expensive to borrow money going by the 10-year. Now, this is concerning because there's always a delay between higher rates and recession. The reason is because companies continue using the old cheap money that they already had. It's only when they run out and need new financing that they hit the wall and start dropping like flies. So a soaring 10-year is like putting up a brick wall 10 miles down the highway. You're fine for now, but something bad is coming. So why are rates soaring? There's two reasons: stubborn inflation and out-of-control federal deficits. The inflation makes markets think the Fed will keep rates higher for longer, while the deficit, which is currently on track to $2 trillion per year, make investors begin to wonder if Uncle Sam will actually pay them back. Incidentally, in case you had any remaining confidence in our economic leaders, the Journal quoted a number of experts, including Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, saying they have no idea why the 10-year is rising. As Janet put it at a recent CEO conference, quote, "It's a great question, and it's one that's very much on my and the administration's minds." Top men. They'll need to pay some more professors, perhaps, to come up with new scapegoats. So what is next? Brought to you by Unchained. What's next is the coming months are going to give us two things that could pull the 10-year in opposite directions. On the one hand, soaring federal debt will continue, which will drive rates up. With yet another war to pay for, they could even get worse. On the other hand, we have a Fed running around like a headless chicken, flipping from hike to cut to hike. I recently mentioned Fed officials who were warning of yet more interest rate hikes, but they flip-flopped immediately after the Israel attacks to hints of rate cuts. Of course, they will have to flip again as inflation keeps going. At some point, investors will not believe Washington. They won't believe Uncle Sam will pay them back, but more important, they won't believe the Fed actually knows what it is doing. That richly deserved loss of confidence could overwhelm even Jerome Powell's mighty money printers, sending borrowing costs and the U.S. economy spiraling towards the catastrophic double-digit rates we last saw in the 1970s. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.